Okay, let me bring in now on this broadcast Rajdeep Sardesai is joining us live from Mumbai. Rajdeep, good evening. Before we talk about how we've been seeing this playing out rather uglily, full public view in the Congress, I want to understand from you, Rajdeep, what you think of what Mr. Tharoor said. Do you think he crossed a Lakshman Rekha that warranted, Congress leaders coming out and targeting him the last 24 hours?
Look, Akshita, the fact is that Shashi Tharoor is a man of words. He's also, I would say, one of the few public intellectuals that we have at the moment in national politics. I think when Shashi Tharoor says that, and he's clarified that when he referred to surgical strikes of 2016 and that we've actually struck across the LOC for the first time, he's trying to make the distinction between the wars of 65 and 71 and the specific operations that took place in 2016 after Uri, 2019 after Pulwama, and then, of course, now in 2025. But I think the real messaging that's going on, Akshita, is not in the words. It's not in the wordplay. It's the fact that Shashi Tharoor wants to retain his relevance in national politics at a time when he's been marginalized by his own party, both nationally and Kerala. And the Congress party wants to establish its authority, both in Kerala and at the national level. So that really is the shadow boxing that's going on. I actually think it's a storm in a teacup. Shashi Tharoor is going nowhere, trust me. Uh, Neither is the Congress in any mood to suspend him or ask him to leave, as your story seems to suggest. This is classically, Akshita, the communication channels and the conflict management within the Congress systems out of power has broken down. And because of the lack of communication, because there is no conflict management process, every comment that Shashi Tharoor makes invites a reaction from some Congress person or the other. And as a result, there's a lot of noise, which was only embarrassing the Congress further at a time when it doesn't need this kind of embarrassment.
So Rajdeep, you're suggesting that Tharoor isn't going anywhere. Then what is the messaging he's attempting to send across every single time when he praises the Prime Minister? He's done it repeatedly. There's been a lot of controversy over it essentially, but it's not stopped him from continuing to make these comments. If he's not attempting to get close to the BJP or attempting to really leave the Congress red-faced, what is his attempt here? Why is he constantly doing it, Rajdeep, in your view?
To retain his relevance. Shashi Tharoor wants to retain his relevance as a sort of India spokesperson, not a party spokesperson, but an India spokesperson on foreign affairs. That's the role. He would be happier, I think, being India's ambassador to the United States at this moment than being a member of parliament sitting in the Lok Sabha. Just look at what Dr. Tharoor said, and your story reflected that. In his book, Paradoxical Prime Minister, in 2018, he says, the shameless exploitation of the 2016 surgical strikes along the line of control with Pakistan as a party election tool, something that the Congress had never done despite having authorized several strikes earlier, marks a particularly disgraceful dilution of the principle that national security issues require both discretion and non-partisanship. What are we to understand? So Shashi Tharoor said one thing in 2018, one thing in 2025. Naturally, the Congress has every reason, therefore, to question him. But I think Dr. Tharoor wants to rise above the din of Congress versus BJP and establish himself as the India spokesperson at this moment, thereby retaining his political relevance. I am told he has already made it clear to some of his friends he's not going to contest a Lok Sabha election again. So come 2029, he won't contest from Thiruvananthapuram. That gives him 4 years. He wants to use these next 4 years to establish his relevance in national politics. And certainly as long as the Kerala elections are there next year, he will have one eye on that in the hope that if circumstances so turn out, maybe he will be seen as a face of the Congress. Having said that, I think that's very unlikely now that the Congress will project Tharoor as its face for Kerala. But this is about Shashi Tharoor battling for relevance and the Congress High Command trying to establish its authority. And the result is rather unseemly, as we are seeing.
No, but Rajdeep, you did say Congress has every right to, respond to Tharoor. But do you think the manner in which they're doing it is correct? The fact that you have some senior Congress leaders calling out Tharoor on social media, it kind of sends across a message that the High Command has no control, that you've got this fight playing out in full public view on social media for everyone to see.
Absolutely, and that's the point I made at the very outset, Akshita. The fact is, Congress's communication systems and conflict management or conflict resolution mechanisms have broken down. So therefore, it's a free for all. One day Udit Raj can say something, one day some other leader from Kerala will say something else, and there is no control. And dare I say, there are Congress leaders, all you have to do is put a mic in front of them, and they may well say something contentious. I call it the ANization of political journalism. Someone comes in, says something, it becomes a controversy, and the Congress doesn't even have the capacity anymore to control it. Because when your high command is weakened, then that makes it that much more difficult to control the narrative. I can tell you for a fact that Salman Khurshid, for example, who's gone on this delegation, was among those who said, look, I don't need to go. I will first take clearance from the Congress High Command. But there were others who said, even if the Congress High Command doesn't allow me to go, I'm going. Now, that would have never happened 20 years ago. Today, the High Command possibly doesn't have the same control over any of their major leaders, and therefore it's become a bit of a free-for-all. And that embarrasses the Congress party and again sends out the wrong signals.
That's true. The strategy perhaps of the Congress High Command to simply look the other way doesn't seem to be really doing the party any favors. Thank you very much, Rajdeep, as always, for joining us here at Super 6 with your perspective on all that's playing out right now in the Congress camp.